green card holders impacted by Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. If you are interested in this, to get all the information, pay attention and watch the video through to the end. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill will impact green card holders and legal immigrants by limiting access to some health benefits and imposing new taxes on money sent overseas. Why it matters. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates that the bill could leave 11.8 million more Americans uninsured by 2034 and increase the federal deficit by nearly $3.3 trillion over the next 10 years. According to CBO estimates, 1.3 million lawfully present immigrants will be uninsured by 2034 due to Trump's flagship domestic policy legislation. The key legislation was signed into law by the president on July 4. What to know? Lawful permanent residents, refugees, survivors of domestic violence, and individuals on valid work or student visas are currently eligible to purchase health insurance through the Affordable Care Act marketplace. Many qualify for federal tax credits that help lower monthly premiums, and some may also meet requirements for Medicaid or Medicare, depending on their income and other factors. The OBBB would significantly restrict that access. If fully enacted, it would prevent some lawfully present immigrants from receiving federal subsidies for health insurance. Low-income green card holders still within the mandatory 5-year waiting period for Medicaid, along with refugees and domestic violence survivors, would be among those most affected by the loss of subsidized health insurance under the measure. Under the changes, only green card holders, certain individuals from Cuba or Haiti, and specific Pacific Island communities would remain eligible for federal benefits. Most other immigrant groups, regardless of their legal status, could lose access to affordable coverage options. Immigrants already consume less Medicare, Medicaid, and other government-supplied health welfare benefits than native-born Americans. The OBBB will widen that gap, with benefits to taxpayers and no negative detectable health effects on non-citizens excluded from benefits. Alex Norast, Vice President for Economic and Social Policy Studies at the Cato Institute, told Newsweek. The OBBB introduces a 1% tax on remittances sent abroad, a move likely to affect millions of immigrant families who regularly send money to relatives in their home countries. Supporters say the measure could generate significant federal revenue, but critics argue it places an added financial burden on low- and middle-income workers who rely on remittances to support loved ones overseas. The OBBB also allocates $45 billion to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement for expanding detention capacity to nearly 100,000 beds, $14 billion for transportation and deportations, and $8 billion to hire 10,000 additional deportation officers. What people are saying. Alex Norast, Vice President for Economic and Social Policy Studies at the Cato Institute, told Newsweek, Congress should have gone further to build a higher and impenetrable wall around the welfare state, instead of around the country, but this reduction in eligibility is a good start. Veronique de Rugy, George Gibbs Chair in Political Economy and Senior Research Fellow with the Mercatus Center, previously told Newsweek, taxing these transfers effectively reduces household income in those communities, potentially pushing families back into poverty or forcing them to forego essential spending. That, in turn, reduces local demand, suppresses entrepreneurship, and weakens social cohesion in already vulnerable regions. Abigail Jackson, a White House spokesperson, previously told Newsweek, President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill protects and preserves Medicaid for vulnerable Americans who rely on it by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse in the program. The funding to secure our border and deport criminal illegal aliens is the fulfillment of President Trump's campaign promise and the mandate the American people gave him when they sent him back to the White House. And the tax cuts and pro-growth provisions will drive our economy even further into the golden age. John Slocum, Executive Director, Refugee Council USA, said in a statement, these proposals represent a shocking reversal of bipartisan commitments that have, for decades, helped newcomers recover, rebuild, and contribute to their new communities. Forcing refugee families to go hungry or without health care will not strengthen our economy or national security, but will do irreparable harm to individuals we have promised to protect and impose unnecessary costs on local systems already under strain. What happens next? The administration's flagship domestic policy could result in hundreds of thousands of lawfully present immigrants, including asylum seekers, trafficking survivors, and refugees, losing access to ACA marketplace coverage by eliminating the subsidies that help keep premiums affordable. That is all for today, in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take
Green card holders impacted by Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill dramatically reshapes benefits for immigrants by restricting access to healthcare subsidies, introducing new remittance taxes, and while strict immigration enforcement funding. Signed into law on July 4, the bill could leave 11.8 million more Americans uninsured by 2034, with 1.3 million lawful immigrants affected, according to the CBO. Under OBBB, low-income green card holders, refugees, and domestic violence survivors may lose eligibility for ACA tax credits and Medicare. Only select groups like green card holders from Cuba, Haiti, and certain Pacific islands remain eligible for federal benefits. The bill also introduces a 1% tax on remittances, burdening immigrant families to land on a money transfer abroad. Supporters praised the bill for cutting welfare issues and funding ICE expansion, with $67 billion allocated for detection, depression, and hiring 10,000 officers. Critics warn it depends poverty undermines social cohesion and violates long-standing humanitarian commitments, especially towards refugees and asylum seekers. The fallout could reshape immigrant access to America's safety net.